Olu Fashanu got the start against the Indianapolis Colts, and today we're going to look at what this guy flashed on tape. To me, Fashanu's definitely the real deal, and you can already see that within what this guy shows on tape in these first couple of games that he's essentially played in. Now, he played against the Cardinals last week. He took 33 snaps at the left tackle spot. Prior to this, he's really only played right guard and right tackle in terms of those snaps. Week 4 and 5, he obviously ended up starting at right tackle. He didn't look as good, right, at the right tackle position, and that's understandably so. But at left tackle, this guy looks really, really, really good. And we're going to analyze some of these snaps, specifically because of what we can see with this guy's movement, what we can see with this guy's processing ability. And here's a good example of that. You're going to have a defensive line game with the defensive tackle, defensive end, and Fashanu's going to do a good job processing it and picking it up. And the quarterback's able to get the ball out on this one. And that processing is what allows Fashanu to be a really good football player, right? Because it's that brain power. It's that ability to think on the fly. You know, each play lasts like 3 seconds, and you have to be able to pick up all the different things that happen within these plays. And with Fashanu, he definitely does a really, really good job being able to process it and pick it up. He does a really good job being able to see it. And to me, these are the little things that stick out with this guy's tape. But it's not the only thing that sticks out. And we're going to talk about his movement here in a second, because the movement is what makes me feel this guy's going to become one of the best tackles in the NFL. I think movement is one of those things that you cannot teach offensive linemen. You're either very quick with the feet, you're very good with the movement, you're able to change direction, or you're not. Trent Brown and DeJuan Jones are never going to have the movement that Penei Sewell has, and they're never going to develop it. You either have it or you don't. And with Olu Fashanu, you see that movement on tape. The guy's very, very fast. Here's a really good rep where he's able to pass off the defensive end to the left guard. Just a really good job being able to get out in a 45-degree set. Recognize that the defensive end is going to try to take a shot at the left guard. He's going to get his hands on this guy. He's going to slow him down enough that the left guard's able to take him. And he makes sure that this guy's fully passed off and the left guard's not in a bad spot before he comes off that. And when he comes off that, he's going to get to the defensive tackle, and he gets his hands on that and just straight up anchors down against that defensive tackle. It does not get better than this. This is some of the best things you'll see on tape from a rookie tackle in his very first start at that position that he's ultimately going to play long term. Just a really, really good job by Fashanu. But I want to show you guys some more snaps of this guy's movement, because I think that's what's truly special with Olu Fashanu. It's that movement. It's the ability to go from point A to point B. You're going to get this run rep here. You're going to get a 3 technique here where Olu Fashanu has to reach block, and he's going to do a really good job being able to get in front of this guy. You're going to see him be able to reach and cut off the 3 technique. The run only picks up about 2 yards. The running back actually runs this towards the right. But if you guys keep an eye on Fashanu here, as he's going to reach here, he has the reach block made, right? You can see that he's going to essentially get in front of this guy. And based off of Olu Fashanu's block, you're going to see that his block actually does open up a lane. If the running back is able to cut this a little bit quicker into this gap, you pick up maybe 4 to 6 yards depending on this guy as well as this guy here. But the running back's not going to trust this gap here. So instead, he's going to hit this towards the front side. And he only picks up about 2 yards. But Fashanu does a really good job getting out of his stance. He does a really nice job exploding out of there. He does a really good job to be able to reach and take over that left guard's job, which allows the left guard to go up to the next level. And Fashanu is just a really, really good overall offensive lineman. But he does have to obviously continue to develop, right? What we're looking at right now is just some of the traits, right? Being able to reach, be able to cut guys off, be able to get in front of guys. It's absolutely special. Here's another example of him being so explosive out of his stance. I mean, just look at how much quicker he is than most of these other guys. Right, him and the right guard are the 2 guys that really move, but he's out of there, right? And that translates him to being able to go to the inside of this defensive lineman. So much so that he actually beats this guy to the spot. He's able to just go up to the next level. Now, on the front side, you're going to actually see the right tackle ends up losing on his block. So because of that, what ends up happening is Breece Hall's only going to pick up about 6 yards on this one, but the play would have popped for so many more yards had that guy stuck to his block. Had the right tackle done a better job on this one, to me, Breece Hall picks up a ton of yards, because what he was going to end up doing on this one, and you can see that vision, is he was going to bend it right through there. And had he hit that before this defensive lineman ultimately got to him, based off of these 2 blocks here, you take this guy away, linebacker's going to fill the gap there, you're looking at maybe like 30 yards on this one. And that would have been because of the reach block here by the left tackle, right? The backside cutoff is very, very important. Of course, the right tackle is going to end up getting beat. But it's still a 6.5 yard gain, so it's still a really good job however you look at it. But here's another really nice snap by Fashanu. This guy's going to do a really good job on this one, where he's going to make contact with that defensive end, and he's going to just push this guy out of there. Now, initially, he is trying to reach this guy, right? And it's a hard block because the guy is lined up so far out, but you're going to still see Fashanu do a pretty good job as he gets out of his stance here. He's going to try to cut him off. It's not going to end up working, and that's okay if you can't seal him. Just push him outwards. And on this one, Fashanu is going to absolutely move this guy. I mean, look at the movement that he's generating. He's going to push him outwards, and that's going to open up a really, really nice lane underneath that. From the point that Fashanu actually makes contact with the defensive end, you see this guy move like 7-8 yards off the spot. So it's a really, really good job with that movement. Now, in my opinion, Fashanu's biggest asset right now is the fact that he's a really good run blocker, and it's already translated to the next level. And it's already translated him to being a good run blocker in the NFL. You see so many plays on tape where this guy's able to get to that second level, and he's double teaming, he's climbing, he's shutting down the guy at the next level. And here's another example of that. He's going to double team the defensive tackle. He's going to make sure the left guard can overtake it. Left guard has it. He goes up to the inside linebacker, shuts that down. And you just see all the cutback opportunities for the running back. And Fashanu obviously is a really good run blocker. But I think as a pass blocker, because of the movement that he also has a ton of upside. And let's talk a little bit about the pass blocking. We'll look a little bit in both of the last two games. So we'll look at some of the Cardinals snaps. We'll look as well as the Colts snaps. This is a really good job by Fashanu to be able to recover within this play. So as a rookie, he's going to have to learn the NFL game, right? He has to learn what every single defensive end is going to try to do to him. You know, Xavier Collins is different than Max Crosby. Max Crosby is different than Micah Parsons. These guys are all different. They move different. They have different pass rush moves. So the biggest thing that Fashanu is going to be able to do this season is just to play, learn what certain defensive ends are going to do, watch the tape in the offseason, develop, get better, get stronger, and come back next season with more experience, right? Because that's going to allow him to be a really, really good left tackle. But one of the things you can't teach is movement, and we've already talked about this, right? But think about what happens within this play. Xavier Collins is going to set up Olu Fashanu with an inside-outside move, right? He's going to fake to the inside. He's going to hezzy, jump back to the outside with the spin move. And Fashanu is going to be off balance, right? Fashanu did not see that coming. And you can see that he kind of leans slightly. He gets off balance. But look at him just recover. Look at how quickly he's able to move back into the spot where he's able to actually shut down Collins. And he makes sure Collins does not have a free shot at the quarterback. And not only does he make contact with him, but he forces him up the field. You can probably see it a little bit better from the all-22 angle. You can see Collins going to give that outside spin, and Fashanu just gets right back on top of it, and he keeps the quarterback clean. That movement is very, very, very special. And we saw this multiple times against the Cardinals. Against the Colts, we saw him as well do a really good job with the movement. Here's another play in which number 43 here is going to drop off, and then he's going to look to the inside. And as he looks to the inside, as he looks to make contact with number 96 here, 96 is going to actually end up swimming to the outside. And Fashanu's off balance in this moment, right? 96 could potentially hit the corner and get to the quarterback. But Fashanu does a really good job just recovering and just getting right back in front of this defensive lineman, changing direction, and making sure the quarterback's kept clean. But I also want to show you guys a sequence of plays against the Indianapolis Colts where Fashanu was struggling a little bit. Fashanu went up against the other rookie in Latu, who's the Indianapolis Colts' first-round pick. And he ended up getting cross-chopped a little bit. He ended up going up against some pass rush moves that maybe he wasn't really ready for, and he ended up losing a couple of times early on in the game. But he also recognized how he was losing, and he did a really good job as the game continued to be able to handle these moves. So we're going to look at this play here by Latu. He's going to do a really good job being able to pin the arms of the left tackle here. Now, Latu is one of those guys that loves to cross-chop. That's his go-to move. But on this one here, he's going to actually end up utilizing the underneath pin on Olu Fashanu, and he's going to bend the corner with that. And he's going to get to the quarterback. So let's talk about what happens within this play. So Latu's going to do a great job here with the left arm. He's going to end up pinning the left arm of Olu Fashanu. There's the pin. He's going to grab onto it. Right arm kind of clamps the top of it. Left arm comes underneath. And he's going to pull him forward. He has the arm trapped. And there's nothing Fashanu can do because he ends up getting caught. So with that, Latu hits the corner, and he's going to get to the quarterback. And this was 3rd and 2. This was a big moment of the game, early on in the game for the New York Jets. And you're going to see that this guy ends up losing that time. He's also going to end up getting caught on this one. This was the 1st and 10 in the second quarter. And he's going to also end up giving up the corner. Now, the quarterback does get the ball out, so it's not going to actually generate into a quarterback hit. But you see Latu once again, he's going to be able to utilize the cross chop on this one. So the left arm's going to come. It's going to hit the left arm of Fashanu. The right arm's going to pin the backside. And Fashanu's going to get caught leaning. right? So again, a really nice move by a pretty good defensive end in my opinion. So Latu obviously caught Fashanu a couple of times early on in the game with the cross chop and then the pin pull, which led to the sack. So now Fashanu's going to try to counter that pass rush move. And the way to counter it is to disrupt the timing of those hands. So if the defensive end here tries striking with the left hand and he catches your left hand, which is your outside arm, he's going to be able to beat you to the outside. What you got to do as an offensive tackle is you got to make sure that inside arm of Latu is not able to get to your outside arm. So the way to do that, and you see Fashanu put that left hand out there, is you can bait this guy into this. You can put the left arm out there, and as soon as he's going to try to strike, you bring your inside arm to disrupt that swipe. And look at this. You see the right arm come up. The left hand drops off. The right arm comes up. Latu's going to end up swatting the outside hand, but it doesn't matter because the left hand ends up landing, and it's going to get to that chest. And that's a pretty good job right there by Fashanu to counter this. Now, keep in mind, from the last play you guys saw that the defensive end actually beat Fashanu to this play, there's been about 7-8 other plays that have happened. But they weren't plays where these guys are in a true one-on-one and it's a passing situation. Right? They're either screens or run plays. Maybe they're quick throws and Latu was on the other side. But this was the time where these guys ended up in a one-on-one, and Fashanu also recognized that Latu's the guy that's going to end up lining up against him, right? So he tries a move, and it works a little bit better, but the guy still generates pressure to the quarterback on this one. And you can see that Fashanu's going to continue to try as the game continues to go on to make sure Latu's not able to cross-chop, and by the time the game comes to an end, Fashanu did a really, really good job being able to shut down Latu and make sure he's not able to get to that cross-chop. Right? He just changed things up. He made sure the hands landed differently. He made sure he didn't allow that guy to get to that outside arm. And although Fashanu early on in the game lost a couple times to the defensive end, by the time the game came to an end, Fashanu looked a lot more comfortable and he basically shut it down. So I am confident that Fashanu probably went to the sideline, recognized how he lost, probably 3 or 4 snaps early on in the game, to where he was able to shut this guy down basically, right? And here's another thing that he was doing, which I generally appreciate with offensive tackles, is he's not going to only take a 45-degree set or a vertical set. He's going to actually end up going directly to the defensive end. He's going to take the fight to him. He's going to try to close that distance down. He's not going to wait for the defensive end to come make contact with him. And in this instance, that's going to disrupt the timing. So if Latu wants to try to cross chop, it's not going to happen because he's not going to have the time. And he's not going to be able to process it as fast as Fashanu, because Fashanu's going to take that fight directly to him, right? So you're essentially disrupting that timing. Overall, as the game came to an end, Fashanu did a really, really good job, and he finished the game really, really well. Truth be told, I don't think he lost the snap in the second half against any of these defensive linemen. He was very explosive. He got to his spot. He knew exactly how to handle these different moves that these guys had. Now, I do think he has to get stronger. I do think that's one of the things that he is struggling with early on. He does have certain snaps when guys start to bull rush him a little bit. He's not able to shut it down. And again, I think this is one of those things that he has to develop and really get better at. It's just really to add some weight, add some power, add some strength, which is obviously something you can do in the offseason. And I do think that with all the reps he's getting in his rookie season, and with all he can essentially develop and add in the offseason, I think Fashanu is going to end up being a really, really good offensive lineman. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time with another video.